Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview. Crystal Palace versus Everton, Selhurst Park on Saturday, and once again, it feels like a must-win, but at the same time, it's an away game. So those two words don't really go together because, other than Southampton away, and they're bottom of the league.
At least we beat them.
Yeah, we did beat them. I mean, we can, didn't do that at home, obviously. Cheers, Frank.
And they weren't bottom when we beat them as well.
Yeah.
How about that?
Crystal Palace away, yeah. I mean, listen, we're not in the bottom three.
Somehow.
So let's keep that positivity going and let's stay out the bottom three. It's how are we continuing to be this bad away from home? Though, why can a football club change players, change managers frequently?
Mm-hmm.
And apart from one season, obviously when there was no fans in the ground, how can we continue to be this bad at playing games just away from our ground?
Players, isn't it? Or a mentality. It's got to be. We've changed. It's not like we've had the same team for 3 or 4 years and they're just all bottle jobs away from home.
Yeah.
Is it? We've tried different managers, different players. The one constant in all of that, well, with regards, apart from the COVID season, the one constant has been the fans who've travelled everywhere and backed them. Ironically, the one season there was no fans in the ground, we won 12 away games, which was obviously an anomaly because we have been rubbish away from home for a number of years, bar that one. But to be so poor away from home, what was it, 2 away wins last season? Brighton and Leicester, I think it was. That was the only 2 away games we won last season. I think this season we've had 1, which was, again, on the south coast, so, maybe there's a little bit of an omen. And we've still got to go to Leicester as well. Yeah. But it can only be a mentality thing, can't it? Because what else is there? If your players are... The easy answer is the players aren't good enough. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But even when we've had better players, we still haven't won away games, so it can only be a mentality, I think. But there's nowhere to go for these players now. There is the 7 games to go. They were terrible at the weekend. A lot of them, it's questionable whether they're good enough to play for Everton Football Club. What Everton Football Club is, not necessarily what the team is right now. Because, again, I said to you, we've had 31 games this season and we've won 6 of them.
Yeah,
it's absolutely pathetic. And one of them's away from home, 1. Right. All the away games and 1 win away from home. It's outrageous. It's terrible. Bournemouth have come up, haven't spent any money, and show the heart and desire to go to Spurs and Leicester and win. But won the last 2 away games. And Everton, who supposedly have got better players and certainly got a much better wage bill for those players, can only win 1 away game. So it can only really be a mentality thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is. You're sitting here every week, and it's just absolutely. It is pathetic, isn't it? It's pathetic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's an away game. It's a game of football on a different pitch. You don't have the backing of the fans. Well, so what? Boo hoo. You have to deal with what's in front of you on the pitch. And Everton, listen. Recently, of course, we went to Chelsea and we got a good draw there. We should have beaten Forest. They still maintain that was the game we had to win. Forest away.
We had it in our hands.
Exactly. But it's the mentality that clearly runs through the football club. Almost allows at times that thing of we're playing away. It's because we used to rely on our home record so much. There'd be no way at this stage of the year that having 5 home games would be acceptable. And obviously it's not acceptable, and that's why we sacked Frank Lampard. But the idea of being in April and only winning 5 games at Selhurst Park is just toe curling. It's incredible how bad it's got in the last couple of years, and it's. To me, what disappoints me is how almost accepted it is, how bad it is. Like, it's not like it's okay, but like, we'll still putting certain players on pedestals and things like that. I don't get it. I don't get it. And this game, again, I've seen it this week. I've seen players coming out saying, we'll give everything. We know how big this game is, and we know how big the next couple of games are. We'll give everything. Well, go and give everything then. Go. Don't walk off the pitch unless you're crawling off it almost. You know what I mean? It's like, don't want to see empty promises. We want to see hard work, absolutely leaving everything on the pitch. Because you go back to that. And to be fair, under Dyche, I think there's been a lot of that until the last two games. And the last two games have been unacceptable. The game at Manchester United it got waved away as one of those days, playing United, blah, blah, blah. But to me, that was, the standards got dropped. And by forgiving that, it's United the way it always happens. But for me, that was almost forgiven. That, doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. It's not Man United the way. We haven't got this Doucouré and this player and that player. But the problem is, because we haven't got good footballers, talented footballers, and we haven't got goals, well, what have we got? What has Sean Dyche given us that wasn't already there? Organisation and hard work, and almost hard work in the right places as well. Doing the work in the right places. 3 in midfield, which for some reason he's thrown away in the last 2 weeks. And then that carried on then into Saturday, where again it was just like one of those days. Oh, Fulham got a lot of the ball. Ooh, gonna have to run after them a bit. And it followed on from the United game, and that has to be put to bed right now, because it's not put to bed in this game. These are destroyers. They're on a great little run, 3 wins, dead confident, a little bit of cockiness about them. There has to be that basic hard work and that basic organisation that gives us a foothold in this game. Otherwise, you could get away from us very quickly, because these have been scoring goals, something we don't do. They'll be relaxed. They'll know they're safe. They can put the icing on it now. But everything that's happened in the last 2 weeks has got to be sorted out. Everyone's got to be on it. And people saying, people writing things on Twitter, there's more to life and all this. Well, you know what? For a lot of these Evertonians, there isn't. There absolutely isn't. And all of them now, I don't want to see stats on, all the nice stats that you can pull out for these players. I want to see hard work. I want to see running stats. I want to see players leaving everything on the pitch, because that's what it's going to take to keep Everton in the Premier League now. Because we've already proved we're not a very good team and we can't score goals. The only thing that's going to keep us in this division is all of those players pulling everything out and stop looking for excuses, and make sure that at the end of the game we go, well, you know what, you give everything. We forgive you all those other things, because it's not your fault. You're not good enough to play for Everton Football Club. We forgive you all those things. You didn't buy yourself, you're not playing yourself, but when you do play, you've got to give absolutely everything for us, because that's the only metric that matters, in my eyes.
Yeah, well, I think that was the most disappointing thing about Saturday, was I don't feel like they did. The last half an hour was atrocious. It was as bad as anything under Lampard. So then players doing it again, that they've done all season again. I guess it just explains why we have only won 6 games of football all season, and 1 away from home. It was totally and utterly pathetic on Saturday against the team that didn't really want to be there. Fulham were just like, game of footy, let's get this. We can't, we're not going down, we can't really go any higher. We haven't got our most effective player. The manager can't even stand on the line. Just beat us, please. And we didn't have the capability to do it. We didn't have the desire and the heart to do it. And it is all about hard work. Crystal Palace were on a dreadful run. I don't think they'd won a game since New Year's Eve, until he sacked Vieira and got rid of him, and he got Roy Hodgson in. Since Hodgson's come in, he won 3 out of 3. They've scored 9 goals, we're averaging 3 goals a game. And Everton will be comfortably beaten if they don't match them straight away and make it difficult for them. Crystal Palace, okay, defensively not great. Midfield is a little bit hit and miss at times. They're better when Doucouré's in, like we are, better when Doucouré's in there. But they've got loads of attacking talent. loads of it, and it was a case for them when they were struggling. It was just about getting that front players aligned. Once the goals come back, you knew they had enough to get themselves out of trouble, and Hodgson's been able to do it. Okay, the first win he got was a little bit fortuitous, and it was 94th minute winner. But since then, he kicked on. He went to Leeds, went a goal down, and battered Leeds. And I've got a good win at Southampton, comfortable win at Southampton. So they're in good form. Like you said, they're safe. You know, one more win guarantees it, absolutely. But they're safe now. They're not going anywhere. And that should be an opportunity for Everton to go and to show who needs the points more. Other teams have gone there and nicked wins. Our record isn't that bad at Selhurst Park. I know we had a bit of a chasing twice last season but the league game at 2-1, we missed. Anthony Gordon's missed a sitter at 2-1 last season in the league before Conor Gallagher made it 3-1. We got bounced in the FA Cup, but we'd already missed 2 sitters in that before they scored. Once they scored, they destroyed us. So, you know, but we won there the year before and things like that. So our record ain't that bad at Selhurst Park. But you know, we have got to go and we've got to battle and scrap for every single thing that we get that is on offer. We've got to have 3 men in midfield for me. We've got to make the most of set pieces, defend properly, and like you said, leave everything out on the pitch. And if they do that, they might scrape up.
I was just looking there. Crystal Palace have scored 7 goals away from home in their last 2 games. We've scored 10 all season. You know that.
I mean, they get 5 in one game, but
I know, but that. We've got 10 all season. It you know, and these are like all these numbers are damning, really damning.
He got 2 at Southampton at the weekend. Our top scorer's got 4. He got 50% of our top scorers' goals at the weekend.
On Saturday, I think what's really important about Saturday is you're going into a game where you look at it and think, right, we can find any kind of performance here. You know, then we play Thursday at home. Night game at Goodison Park against Newcastle. Could be a huge, you know, with the Man City game coming up, and obviously then Bournemouth being the last game of the season. You know, this could be a huge, that could be a huge night for Everton. Now, if you're going into that game and you've somehow managed to get 3 points away from home, which we were going to Crystal Palace, by the way. We're not, you know, we're not going to Man City. That could be, you know, because back-to-back, if you get back-to-back victories, what's that? But at this stage of the year, if you could do that, it's what pulled us out last year, the Chelsea and the Leicester game. If we could do that, if we could go into the Newcastle game off the back of the result, it would give everybody, the fans, a massive boost. It would make that game an occasion. Whereas, you know, I don't think Sean Dyche particularly likes that sort of thing, but you know, whether there's a bus welcome or not, but it could give that night a huge lift. Everyone could just put everyone on that little bit, give everyone that little bit extra, and that has to be Saturday. And if you think about it, if we've got this game Saturday and you know, we are in any way lackluster, or we don't show heart, or we give anything where the fans can go, what were you doing? How do you not know how important this game is? You know, I know every game is a big game, but I genuinely feel like this one, when you look at the fixtures coming up, I know it should have started with the Fulham game, but I just look at this one and think, if we somehow could get 3 points in this game, then it makes Newcastle absolutely huge game. So
Saturday was the perfect opportunity. Yeah. We'd have beat Fulham Saturday. We could have been going to Palace, and a point would have been a good result. And coming out of that, you'd always want the 3, of course. Yeah. We would have been going, you know, if we got a draw and we took 4, we'd be on 31 points then going into the Newcastle game. Almost thinking if we beat Newcastle, tell you what, we've got 1 foot staying in the Premier League. Now we're relying on other teams, and the whole thing is, and to be fair, I've been relying on other teams for a while. Yeah. It's come down quite simply now to, it won't be that Everton are good if they stay up. It'll be that there's 3 teams worse than Everton. That's exactly what it will be. We're already we're in that stage. We've played the whole season, really, without a striker. Maupai's been there just in name only as a striker. He's not really done anything. Ellis Sims is a youngest in terms of learning the game. Dom's not been there hardly ever. So Everton, it's amazing really that Everton is still outside the bottom three. They're the only team without a striker in the Premier League. It's crazy. And yet we are. So we have got to, you know, on Saturday I was convinced with half an hour, I thought we're down. With half an hour, I was just watching them, there was nothing. There was no running, no response. There was a bit of that again with the shirts when they made it 3-1. And I just looked and thought, these are gone. They're absolutely gone. But obviously the days go by, don't they? And you look at and you see the two teams around you getting, you know, Forest got done, United at home, toothless. Leeds are terrible, like genuinely terrible at the moment. 6-1 at home. You know, imagine us sat here losing 5-1 and 6-1 our last two home games. You'd just be going, there's not a chance. So somehow Everton find themselves still in touching distance of Leeds and still above the relegation zone. I don't know how many more little chances they're going to get. You know, we had Forest away, you said it before, we were 2-1 up with 15 minutes left against a rival. That should have been seen out. That should have been the away win. And then you build on it, and it wasn't. Tottenham at home, Spurs were so poor. Yeah. And yet we've done well to get a point in the end.
Self-inflicted.
But we were self-inflicted that we didn't win that one. United, don't know what the manager did, but United away and all that, whatever. But Fulham at the weekend, his tactics were terrible. He, you know, almost put us one down with his team selection at the weekend because the players, we know, seeing that team sheet, that those players weren't going to respond. We know that. So we've wasted that chance. So this is, and listen, we're going into, it would have been great playing Palace a month ago at their place because they were feeling down in the dumps a bit. But we've got to go there, dig in, keep it tight, not give them anything cheap, and make use of the opportunities when they come our way. Because the one thing I will say to finish, we aren't scoring goals, but we're creating a hell of a lot more than we have done. So it's whether you've got anyone who can take the chance.
Well, maybe we will. Let's just have a look at the team that played against Fulham. So, you know, for me, we know Dominic Calvert-Lewin's played this week. Hopefully, barring any kind of reaction, he'd be available. Yeah. And like I said last week, for me, he has to go straight into the team because there's just no opportunities now. We've run out of games. Yeah. He has to be available. He has to play. The other one I'd take out of that team is Michael Keane, and I'd have Yeremina back in it. I think a lot of people feel this way now. Again, it's that thing of like Michael Keane's had his chance. He's not a good defender. Connor Cody's had his chance. Yeremina's sitting there. He's fit. With the games left, get him in the team. Get him in the team because he's a threat. You know, offensively, he's a good defender. I still think he's our best defender. He's a wind-up merchant. He's niggly. He's exactly what you need for the fight. He's exactly what you need for the fight. And listen, if he doesn't last, you've got those other players.
There's 35 defenders on the bench.
Yeah.
There's
loads. He doesn't make 5 subs anyway, so it's not like you're going, well, we'll lose a sub. You're just putting some in. I think you've got to start making decisions now. You know, desperate times.
You can't keep that defensive partnership. You can't keep Michael Keane in there at the moment. You just can't. Whether Dykes likes him or not, Connor Cody made some errors and was out the team. Well, Michael Keane's made about 4 since he come back in. Bar the great goal against Spurs, and it was a great goal. What has he really done? He's had. So,
and I understand the dynamics of the partnership.
No, but you're looking for, you got to look at the defence, and Everton are in the bottom 2 in the Premier League under Dyche defensively, which is crazy because we all thought that'd be an area he solved, and he hasn't. So he's made it worse actually, which is crazy. He's improved the attacking again, which is almost seems backwards to like what you'd expected. But they've had a go now, so it's not worked. So on Saturday, get Mina in there alongside Tarkowski. Like you said, if there's any issue, people will go, well, Mina's never fit. Well, he's been fit for weeks. And if he goes off injured, we've got other defenders there. It's not like we can only have 3 subs and one's got to be a centre-back. Mason Holgate's there. Connor Cody's there. If Michael Keane comes out, Michael Keane will be there.
The crazy thing about it is, it's like we're all begging for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to come back because we know he's our best centre-forward, And yet our best centre-back has basically got sort of like the same injury record as him. And no one really says anything about it because we've got other centre-backs. Yeah, but Yerry Mina is still our best centre-back, still our best defender. You know, and his injury record...
I think when you can... If Everton were keeping it tight and weren't really conceding goals, then there wouldn't be a conversation about the defenders. Whether it's Michael Keane or it's Mason Holgate, Connor Cole, whoever. My point is he changed Cody and Tarkowski because he felt like we were giving things up. Well, we're still giving things up, so you have to make another change.
What about some of the other positions? Obviously,
Patterson at being at right back. Godfrey obviously went off with concussion. We won't know, probably until late with Ben. But I would have Patterson in anyway, right back. If Godfrey's fit, then I put him at left back. I would, just because.
What about the midfield situation?
A midfield for me, it's a flip of who comes out, Iwobi or Damari Gray. For me, if Onana's fit. If Onana's fit, he's back in the midfield with Garner and James Garner. Leave them three in. It's whoever plays on the right. McNeil stays in on the left. He's been playing well lately. Yeah. Dot him up front, like you said, and it'd be a toss-up between Iwobi and Damari Gray. Probably go with Iwobi on the right because of the insurance. He gives you a little bit more in front of Patterson. I don't think Seamus will be quite ready for this one.
No, not with that hamstring.
No, so that's what I would do. Because I think I'm never one for making like 4 or 5 changes, but that performance at the weekend, these people deserve to be left out.
They do.
You've got to get people right. It's great giving an interview for Everton TV going, we know what it means. Well, you didn't know what it meant after frigging 55 minutes on Saturday when Harry Wilson scored. So why do you now? And that was at home. And if you'd have stepped up 5%, you'd have won the game. So what's the difference? So I'd make changes and just go, these lads deserve a goal now. You've blew it. And then it's up to you to force your way back in.
Let's have a little look at Palace's team from the win against Southampton. Eze obviously has been in great form. The core obviously missed the game against us at Goodison, obviously our best win of the season, and that's basically had no midfield that day.
It's still light.
It is, but I mean, I think what he's done is he's organised the back line like he does, and he's getting the best out of people like Eze, who've obviously technically great football and have got pace and the confidence, and he's just done the basics to them, hasn't he? He's just got them all confident.
They're almost like it's almost like 5v5. It's a a defensive.
But they've got the energy, haven't they? They've got the energy, and they've been taking the chances.
Schlupp and Eze getting forward.
Let's have a look at Eze's numbers. Games 31. Goals 7, assists 3, key passes per game 1.4, and he's come on loads in the last few weeks, and obviously talented football. Crystal Palace, I think this is what Palace fans were saying about, I think when Roy Hodgson left and they were like, there's talent in there, but it's not allowed to do what it wants. And then I think as the Vieira era went on, the talented players weren't doing what they've been. What they can do, but there was no defensive structure, confidence, because you can't quite find that. Maybe there's a lot of similarities with sort of Vieira, Lampard, Gerrard sort of way of looking at things, but Hodgson's come in and he sorted the back line, and that's allowing players in the forward positions to do what they want to do, and they're all working hard. And that's ultimately the end of the day. You mentioned it there, like the Fulham game. It's like, for us, if everyone's working hard and got forwards and backwards, it gives you a great platform to play off, and you just need people to put the ball in the back of the net, and they have. They've been staying patient, and last week in Southampton, it wasn't until the second half they got a little bit of luck, but sometimes that's the way it is. Leeds, they got the goal just before half time and Leeds were on top. Come out second half and they play in the counter attack, and we've seen what happened to Leeds the other night. Liverpool exactly the same, playing on the counter attack. But it'd be a difficult game. Everton have just got to stay in as long as they can. Opportunities present themselves, they have to take them, and that's the top and bottom of it. So there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. What would you go for as well in terms of team selection? Is there a few changes? Would you like to see some of those youngsters that got on the bench given opportunities? Maybe not for starts, but the likes of Stanley Mills scored a goal this week for the under-21s. Should he be getting a chance off the bench now? If Dominic Calvert-Lewin doesn't play, does that mean Ellis Sims starts?
Yes.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want more great videos, join us over on Toffee TV Premiere. for daily live exclusives. The link is in the description. It'll be on the screen in 2 seconds. See you later.